This is a ranked match as the Condition Specter. The role of this build is to be a duelist. So you want to be going towards nodes where there aren't many enemies because a lot of your damage is single target, but it's also very slow. So I'm going to head to far, and there's actually going to be two players here. There's a Reaper and a Core Thief. So this is good for me because I want to stall two players. A duelist gets a lot of value out of holding outnumbered. So if I hold their Reaper, then that's preventing my team from dying to a lot of their damage. So I'm just abusing the sword too, going back and forth, and it makes it really hard for melee classes to really stick to you. I'm going to use my stealth combo here with the Shroud 2 and 5, and then use the Pistol 5, and using that combo will get you stealth and give you a lot of sustain because you also get barrier whenever you go in stealth. So I've essentially stalled the Reaper for long enough to waste their time that they've left, and now I'm in a 1v1 with the Core Thief, and I'm in a good situation now because I want to be 1v1ing. This is a duelist build. It has a lot of good sustain, and it also can pressure single targets. So this is a good situation now, and I'm going to go for the decap. I actually have the Chronomancer chasing me now, so I'm going to get off with my Shadow Step. I have to be really careful against really high burst classes, especially now that I've used my only stun break. So I set my sword 2 there, and I used it to get back. So I'm using Shadow Step returns and the sword 2 returns to just keep porting around. And I try to use my well to get on top of that ledge there, but I get interrupted. So you have to be careful with this build. You're very susceptible to CC. I do land my Cloak and Dagger, which puts me in stealth, and I'm going to go for the Pistol 5 into the Shroud 2, but I use the 3 as well so I get revealed, because if you hit something when you're in stealth, then you'll get revealed. So if you only do one blast, you have no chance of getting revealed. But because I wanted to go for a longer stealth duration because I was so pressured, I actually got punished for that. But we're going to respawn. Our team is probably going to die around the map because a lot of those players who were chasing me are now going to push into my team. So I'm going to just head into probably into home because I want to defend a node rather than fully cap a node, since the enemy team doesn't really have a node. If they owned a node and no one was defending it, I'd probably go for that. But since we have pretty much all the nodes that are owned, I want to go and defend it. But a Reaper and a Core Guardian push into me, and that's not a bad matchup for me because the Core Guardian doesn't do that much damage, so all I need to do is prevent the Reaper from doing damage to me. And the Reaper needs to keep attacking me, so they didn't get the decap yet, and I'm kind of like trolling them now and holding the node, and that gives my team time to arrive. So that's one thing you really want to do on the Condition Specter build, is just troll around, because you waste so much of their time by just using ports, and then when you get into the situation where you can't waste their time anymore, you're an effective duelist. As you can see, I can still 1v1 the Reaper when the Guardian realizes he's wasting his time. So we've got that down. I go for the Shadowfall to CC them, but they get through that. But we've got plenty of cleave, and I don't think they have their Signet res anyways. So yeah, we just spam the Scepter 3 when you're in the 1v1, and otherwise you use the Sword 2 to create the situations for you to get those kills. So most of the damage of this build is from the Scepter, but you create the situations to do the damage with your sword. So I would say that the sword is actually the most important weapon on the build. So now we've got both home and mid. I'm going to use my well to get a little bit better vision, and I'm going to port into far. I see their Scrapper goes in stealth, so I'm just going to go in stealth by Cloak and Daggering on that Chronomancer there, just to be a little bit safe. And I have to return to my Shadow return spot there because there's a lot of their team coming in. I'm giving some healing to my ally there, and that's another good thing, is this build can play multiple roles because you can duel, you can kind of roam a little bit, though it's kind of slow the damage, and you can also support quite a bit, but it is mostly a duelist. I use my sword port here without a target so that I can go back to it, and when they don't notice that I'm going back for it, I go for the decap, and since they're committing to the fight and getting kills on my team, I'm able to get the decap And now I can steal the stability from the Reaper and just pressure them. And my Herald is coming in, so I'm going to try to give them some healing and barrier with the Scepter 3. Targeting your allies or targeting enemies is really important to discern on this build when you need to do either one of those. And a good Condition Specter will often use the Scepter Pistol 3 on their ally when they need it, and use it on the enemy when that's needed as well. So that's one thing you really need to get good at, is targeting allies. And then you're going to want to be very careful because, yeah, you take a lot of damage. So the Scrapper is chasing me. I have port returns that I can use, but we're still in a really dangerous spot. I have to use the 2 in Shroud and then Pistol 5 to get in stealth here. And the Scrapper is still chasing, but I can pressure them off node. I use the Signet of Shadows to blind them, and I'm going to do another stealth combo here. I dodge all of that CC, and I'm going to go for another stealth combo here with the precasted 5 skill. And we're holding quite a bit of people outnumbered here. I go for a final stealth combo here before I can go in with the Sword 2 to decap, because they don't know where I am. I show up and now they've overinvested, so they want to leave. But now they've overinvested into something they didn't get any value out of, because I just get the decap anyways. So you can really be a nuisance with Condition Specter, and if you're doing that, that's how you carry a match, is being a nuisance. You're not going to carry like a Power Specter will by just getting kills nonstop. You have to think tactically and manipulate the enemy team's positioning by making them want to get the kill on you when you're contesting nodes, but then being unkillable because you're so tanky and so much mobility. Now I see that their Reaper is really low, so I'm going to use my Shroud here and I will be able to finish them off because they're low. I mean, you have a decent amount of damage there. Probably should have used my Signet of Shadows there to get the stomp, but we're going to get it either way. Now that we've got a kill, I do want to go for the cap on far because we've got a kill. So the rest of the map is kind of even for my team, and I'm not a roamer, so I don't want to go get momentum on the map. But I also, don't want to leave my team outnumbered. So when I got that kill there, I knew that I could cap the node. But their Scrapper comes in, so I want to pressure out some of their initial cooldowns before I really commit to the Scepter Pistol spam, because they can do a lot of damage to me. So I am mostly using Sword Dagger here, and you can do a little bit of damage with Sword 3 with the poison on that, but really I'm just using it to kind of bait out cooldowns. Now I've got their, I don't know what that was, but I took a lot of damage, so I'm just using Sword 2 to port around, and I get knocked, but I'll be fine because I've got 2 returns here, and I'll be able to use my heal skill, evade a little bit with the Sword Dagger 3, and I will do the stealth combo. Their Thief is on me now, so a lot of people chasing me. I'm going to do another stealth combo. So you can do a stealth combo to get into Shroud if you do the Pistol 5 and then you use Shroud 2. And then you can use that same Shroud to get another stealth combo, which is extremely safe, because then you would do the Shroud 2 into the Pistol 5. So yeah, knowing how to do that stealth combo is pretty important. Now I'm going to get this kill with my teammate there. I use a Signet of Shadows to get the burst because it'll give a lot of vulnerability as well. Now I use my Shroud while targeting my ally Reaper there to give them some support, and I'm going to go for the kill here because they're fine now, but I see that my Willbender is kind of low, so I'm going to target them with the Scepter Pistol 3, and that gets them out. Remember, getting a kill is important, but you got to know your role, and since I'm not an insane roamer with a lot of burst damage, supporting your ally can be better in some situations. So going for the support on my Willbender there is really key, because if my Willbender dies, then I'm going to eventually be in a bad situation. So now that we're in a good situation, I can start attacking the target again using my Signet of Shadows to cover Condis, and we get the cleave. Now, pretty much at this point, we're going to win the match, but if we were in a different situation, I'd probably go and decap home, but we're in a good spot, so I'm just going to keep pressuring and getting kills with my team. But yeah, otherwise, you kind of don't want to be in like these large team fights too often as a Condition Specter, because you only give like a little bit of support to one ally and then like your single target damage mostly. But my teammate is going down here. There's not much we can do. You can kind of see how my effectiveness in these large scale fights is kind of going down. So I'm just going to try to blast stealth and wait for my team to either wipe or just leave, and then I'll try to stall the enemy while I'm here. So I'm using the sword too to create some distance, and I can just regroup with my team, because if they're all waiting for me, then I can just create distance and we can get something done with our team. But I'm going to actually go back in because I know their Chronomancer is an easy kill because they're not a duelist, and the Reaper knows that they don't want to waste any more time because they have to get their win condition. But now the Chronomancer is forced to 1v1 me, and this is a good 1v1 build. So it's good at creating 1v1s, and it's decent at 1v1ing as well. But the most important thing is that the Condition Specter creates its 1v1s with the positioning and manipulating the map. So rotation is really important on this build, even though it's more of a duelist than a roamer. You still have to kind of like play as a roamer-ish duelist. But that is pretty much how you play the Condition Specter. If you like this content, then like the video, subscribe for more, and if you want to see other builds like this, you can check out the PvP build section at guildgen.com. With that being said, I will see you all next time.